Welcome back everyone to episode 2. We just covered knockdown shields, body shields, backpacks, and helmets in episode 1. This video will cover heat shields, respawn beacons, healing items, and the ring. Let's dive in. First up, we're taking another look at the survival slot. In the last video covering backpacks, we talked about how this is a separate slot that does not use standard backpack space. Well, now we're going to talk about the 2 items that can go in that slot. Those items can be either 2 heat shields or 1 mobile respawn beacon. They do very different things, so don't forget which one you have. Also, make sure to remember that your survival slot spawns empty, and that for blue level gear, they can be pretty hard to find. Mobile respawn beacons do exactly what they sound like they do. Across the map, there are many single-use respawn beacons marked with a green dot and symbol that you can see on both the minimap and the full map. Retrieving a player's banner from their death crate and delivering it to a respawn beacon will call in a dropship with that specific player, giving them another life. Each beacon, mobile or placed, only gets 1 use. Each use can be used to call in both teammates, but you will need both banners, and once a banner is timed out and goes gray, that teammate can no longer rejoin the game. We will be doing a dedicated video on ranked gameplay, but just because a player is timed out does not mean they stop earning ranked points in ranked game modes, so be sure to stay alive as long as you can in ranked to help your team get as many points as possible. Daily respawn beacons take 5 seconds to use, and mobile respawn beacons take 15 seconds to land once called in, and take 7 seconds to use. They must be called in an open area. Close to cover is fine, but if anything is above the location once called at, or if it's on uneven ground, the beacon will not be able to land and it will appear red. If the hologram is blue, then you may use the beacon there. Pulling right trigger on Xbox, R2 on PlayStation, or clicking left mouse button on PC, as well as the bottom right trigger on Switch remotes, this will allow you to call in the mobile respawn beacon. Additionally, there is a setting that you can use to adjust how you use the survival slot. We covered it in the backpack video, but just as a reminder, in case you haven't seen episode 1, then in the settings there's a method to allow a different hotkey to be used on the survival slot, but otherwise it defaults as completely off. And in order to use the survival slot, you will have to open up your backpack menu and click on the item in there. On remote control, it should be holding left on the D-pad as the way to toggle the survival slot. However, this action is typically used on default as the weapon inspect. So holding the weapon inspect key on PC should allow you to use the survival slot as a hotkey instead of having to open the menu. Moving on to healing items, what are the fastest healing methods and what items heal you? Well, there are 5 items that heal you and an additional method of healing as a last resort or when the time does not permit regular healing. But first, we're going to recap our body shield tips, and remember to always take the higher health shield unless you are 200 or less damage away from getting red on your violet level Evo shield. Violet shields are a dime a dozen, and red is harder to obtain, so you should always take the red shield unless you need the healing bonus of gold. We're going to cover that in more detail in a second, but for the most part, gold shields just generally help you save shield batteries and medkits, and don't typically provide a huge advantage. The first 2 items that we're going to look at for healing are shield cells and shield batteries, and both those items will only heal you shields and will not help you on base health at all. Shield cells will always heal 25 shields up to the max health of your shield, and shield cells take 3 seconds to use. Shield batteries will fully recharge your shield to max health, and they take 5 seconds to use. It will be up to you to determine if speed is more important than saving your shield batteries for the endgame. Don't let cells cost you a life. If you are not sure, then you probably just need to use a battery instead. Batteries can always be crafted in the replicator, and replicators spawn as the game goes on. However, crafting materials do not, so make sure to grab some even if you don't need them right now, because you may want to use them later. Syringes and medkits will only heal base health, and syringes will heal 25 health over 5 seconds, and medkits will heal 100 health over 8 seconds. Take note that it is always faster to heal shields over your base health. If you have to choose between shields or health, pick shields. Medkits are always faster than 2 or more syringes, but remember that syringes become useless outside the zone by the mid game. So if you can save your medkits, do that. I only carry 2, so I save them for when I need to heal really quickly, and this is typically either in a rare situation where I'm in combat and I'm shield swapping and then using a medkit, or if I'm caught outside the zone in round 3 and I literally can't use syringes because I will die if I use them, so I have to use medkits, and we're going to talk about that more later, but typically I save those 2 medkits for when I need them, and it is pretty rare to need just a medkit in the endgame, but shield swapping does get more common as fewer and fewer people are alive, so it can be useful to have a couple, but you won't need a lot. If you need to heal base health and shields, then there's something called a Phoenix Kit. Phoenix Kits will heal 100 health and fully recharge your shields. However, this takes 10 seconds to use. This is still faster than using a shield battery and a med kit separately, but only by 3 seconds. So save the Phoenix Kit for when you really need them. If you can manage a med kit and a body swap, do this instead. It can save about 1 second, which can make a huge difference. More importantly, I only carry one Phoenix Kit, so saving it until the last possible moment helps quite a bit. Remember that a Kraber hits for 145 to the body, so using a Phoenix Kit after being hit is pretty crucial. The 3 seconds the Phoenix Kit saves you is often enough to keep you and your team alive. Should 2 team members be hit with a Kraber, expect a push. Should you not have time to use a shield battery, then body swapping is the preferred tactic for healing your shields by simply swapping your shield out with an enemy shield. There are 3 ways to do this, and the first and easiest way is to swap with a shield that is on the ground as regular loot that you find on the map. The other methods are to finish the enemy or use an existing death box to grab that player's armor instead of healing yours, specifically in combat. Because you're going to be doing this in combat, it doesn't really matter if you downgrade from a broken level 3 armor to a full level 2 armor, because you need the health of the level 2 armor to help win the gunfight that you're currently in. It's better to survive the fight and swap back than be caught in a 1v1 with only base health. There are 3 very important tips for body swapping, and the first is that a finished enemy will always have full shields. You can't always trust an existing death crate to have an armor that is fully healed, because sometimes people armor swap on that and never go back and take the shield. The second is that completing a finishing move, which is used by holding the interact button, will recharge your shields for free. However, being shot at while doing a finishing move will cancel the finishing move and you will take damage. It's not always the right play, and there's no way to know exactly how long it will take because the different legends have different finishers and different finishers take different amounts of time. So unless you Google what finisher you've used for what character, then you won't know exactly how long it will take, but it will take between 4 and 8 seconds. The third is that when looting a death box that is not from a fresh kill, you need to pay attention. Not remembering to check the health of the body shield in the box when body swapping will get you killed, because any shield with more health than your current shield will appear highlighted, even if the body shield is lower level. Now in this situation, that is an okay trade because we want the health for the lower shield, but this is not the only time that a body shield will appear highlighted. It is possible for a fully broken body shield to be in a death crate and appear highlighted. That body shield must be the same or higher level than you with potentially 0 health. This means that the body shield in the death box has less damage required than your body shield to upgrade it to the next level. And you need to pay attention because it will not be a press and hold to switch to this body shield. Any highlighted body shield, all you have to do is press the button and it will automatically switch. However, to undo that action, you will have to press and hold. So accidentally tapping to a broken body shield will cost you a good amount of time. But 2 tips for dealing with body shields that have more or less damage than the one that you currently have. It's always a good idea to take a body shield that needs less damage to be upgraded, but for the most part, if it's not a level 3 violet shield, then it probably doesn't matter. Also, if you're going to shield swap to a broken shield that has less damage, make sure that you can replace the shield cells or shield batteries that you're going to use to recharge that shield from the same death crate or the same area. There are 3 shields that you would want to pick up that violate that rule of being able to replace cells. So if you see a violet shield with 200 or less damage, a red shield, or a gold shield, if they're completely broken or partially broken, just go ahead, shield swap, and heal it with what you have on you, and don't worry about replacing those meds because those 3 shields are going to benefit you in the long term and you don't want to leave them behind. Now we're going to start moving into heat shields in the ring and how this is going to interact with each other and when the best time to use them is, as well as we're kind of circling back and describing when syringes are useful, when medkits are useful, and so on and so forth. So heat shields are a recent addition, and this allows players to stop taking ring damage for a limited amount of time. The lower the ring damage, the longer it lasts, and the shield will do nothing when used inside the play area. However, even if a small part of it is touching the ring, then its abilities will activate. When the shield is used outside the play area, you will revive players 25% faster, reducing the revive time from 6 seconds to 4.5 seconds. In rounds 1 and 2, the shield will last 30 seconds. In round 3, it will last 25 seconds. In round 4, it will last 19 seconds. And in round 5, it will last 10 seconds. In round 6, it will last 6 seconds, but once round 6 starts to close, the heat shield will be destroyed automatically. A few tips about heat shields is that They block a lot of your vision, and heat shields are easy to see into and hard to see out of, so don't use them for gunfights, only for healing and looting. Second is remember what round it is. The ring moves about the same speed as you, so catching up to it can be a hard task. Use jump towers, jump pads, zip lines, portals, sliding, and anything you can to gain extra speed and beat the ring. Round 1 and 2 are nothing to panic over, especially with heat shields. A stack of syringes and medkits is enough to be okay. You will want to refill that loop before being caught in the storm again, and staying in for long periods of time, even in round 1 or 2, can require more meds than that. But now that we've covered what heat shields are, what they do, and how long they last in certain rounds, then we're going to go into the ring and when to fight, when to loot, and when to run. Generally speaking, it is better to rotate and fight from inside the play area. Fights can take several minutes, so if you're too far from the safe area, it can cause long runs and death by ring damage. If you have the meds to stay alive and you're close to the ring with time to spare before the next ring closes, then by all means fight and keep any power position you may have. Rounds 1 and 2 only tick 2 and 3 health per second, so healing and fighting is very manageable. However, round 3 ticks 10 health per second, and only medkits can be used to out-heal the storm, and even then it doesn't give you that long between needing to heal and walking. So by the time the round 3 ring starts closing, expect to only cover very small distances because you will die without a heat shield. It's very important to remember that once it starts ticking 10 health per second, the only meds that you can use to out-heal the storm is a med kit. Although a Phoenix kit will give you 100 base health, it will take 10 seconds to go off, which is the same amount of time that you have alive. So using a Phoenix kit in round 3 storm will kill you. Reviving in the round 3 storm without a heat shield will just result in the death of you and your teammate. You will need to leave them and continue on. Remember that it takes 6 seconds to revive, and a med kit will take 8. So you only get 10 seconds before you get knocked, and those 2 actions will take 14. The exception will be Lifeline because she can res without having to physically touch the person, and she can use meds after hitting the button. In this stage, at 10 health per second, the heat shield will last 25 seconds, so you also revive in 4.5 seconds under the heat shield, which is enough time to revive, take a Phoenix kit, and even loot. Remember that in round 1 and round 2, it will only do 2 to 3 damage per tick, and even at 3 damage per tick, you won't need anything special to revive a teammate. Remember that without a gold backpack, teammates will be revived with 15 health, and at 3 damage per tick, that gives them 5 seconds, or exactly enough time to pop off a single syringe. They will need to use the syringe immediately in order to not get knocked again, and at this point they have 2 options. If they can do it fast enough, they do have enough health at 3 damage per tick to use a medkit. However, it's very, very close. The same amount of time and same closeness that it was to do the syringe that they used right when they got healed. So it is safer to use a second syringe and then a med kit. But the most important thing is to not get nervous and don't cancel. Make your choice and stick with it. You will need to do this regardless of 2 or 3 damage per tick. And no matter what, always use a syringe first and then a med kit. So when does the ring jump from being safe to complete hell? Well, once the round 3 ring starts to close, then that's when you know that you're about to be dead. The ring damage will increase once the ring starts to close. So the game will start with an open map, then after 60 seconds, round 1 will start. Round 1 ring damage, or 2 damage per tick, will last until the ring closes and the full timer for round 1. In other words, for the first 9.5 minutes, the ring will do 2 damage per second. It is very manageable to out-heal this damage, but long distances or lengths of time will require a lot of healing. Round 2 damage will begin once the timer for round 2 completes and the ring begins to close for the second time. As it closes for the second time, the ring will do 3 damage per tick, and it will take 45 seconds for the ring to close, and it will continue to do 3 damage per tick for another 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Once the ring starts to close for a third time, it will deal 10 damage per second. This is the oh fuck stage. The you better be inside the ring and fully healed stage. During the third ring closing and after, it is no longer safe to be outside the ring. Heat shields will be required, and it will not buy you a lot of time, just enough to heal and keep moving. Be sure to learn the middle ground and keep an eye on the shield health. If you're fast, there can be time to loot. That's all we're going to cover in this video, so don't forget to watch episode 3 to know what guns to pick up and what guns to avoid. As always, I hope you learned something from all this. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like so you can find this video easier in the future, and follow us on Twitch to watch us live.